So Daniel, Audrey and I were all going to Berghain after this other club, and we like split up a block away from the club, and like Daniel went first and then Audrey like waited like 30 seconds, then went, and I waited a little bit and then went. We were all being super cash. I was trying not to look at anything in the lineup, but yeah, I saw Daniel like get waved in, and then a few people later I saw Audrey, you, get waved in, and there was like another big group like between us, and the three of them got waved in, and then I was up, and it was this female bouncer with like a short bob haircut thing, and she just did like this, just wave hand motion the other direction, and that was it, and I left. No words were exchanged.
Are we gonna get in? Yes. I swear the fuck we're gonna get in.
Probably not. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Optimistically realistic in a bit.
I would say yeah.
Of course we are.
Of course.
Yes?
Yeah.
We're getting in. Hope so.
We're gonna wait a bit now.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I wish. My desires are yes.
Maybe in a couple hours.
Of course.
Oh yeah, of course. We try.
Yeah, we will.
No, maybe.
The chance is 100%.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
We hope so, for sure.
Yeah. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think so.
Maybe, let's see. Like 4 hours.
Before I moved to Berlin, I was not that much a fan. Like techno, I just came to love when I started going clubbing here in Berlin. It's just catch one, like everyone can like dance the way they want. I can enjoy various sort of music in the club, but it kind of must be brutal, you know, like dark and fast and like pushes forward, you know. And this techno has all of this, or can have all of this.
My favorite genre for like parties, like dance parties, like trance, but like techno is kind of similar, so you can like free yourself, especially here in Berlin, and have fun and listen to good music and be energetic.
I really love techno when I go dancing, but I don't listen to it that often in my free time. I think techno is some kind of the thing that people really connect to Berlin, but is also sometimes a bit overplayed. Like, it's this certain scene, a certain style, and it's actually not really about the music, but more about the parties, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's very white city, also very techno city, and so, yeah, being a house music person, I've had my struggles.
I like just the beats, like the lyrics doesn't, like, if it's pop songs or something like hip-hop, I get distracted by the lyrics because it's getting in my mind or something, but I like just to listen to the beat so I can dance a bit better. I cannot dance to some pops or hip-hop. I just feel like I feel more free here.
I wasn't into techno before coming here, but then I tried here because of course I'm in Berlin, so I have to try it. And like, yes, the mood, the vibes that it is in techno club is like freedom. Everybody doesn't give a fuck of anybody.
You have so much choice. It's very open and colorful. Great music, love, freedom, respect.
It's like flying, it's like flowing, you see? It's really dancing. You won't find it in the techno.
This is something that I tell my therapist and he makes fun of me, but I feel like it's very therapeutic because it's very meditative. Like, you know, like when I go to a club, I don't party just for party. Like I enter and I dance for 10 hours and then I leave. And during that time, I'm like thinking about stuff, I'm like processing stuff, I come to realization. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad, and I feel like it's like the space that I make for myself to really like just exist and just follow the beat and just dance and move my body and feel good.
The special thing about clubbing in Berlin is when you go to certain clubs and you have this community of people that you meet there every time you're there. You meet the people beside their job life. Like you're not meeting the person who works in this office or in this shop and everything, but you just meet the people when they are really free.
First of all, the music, then it was 3 days in a row, so we were completely, can I say shit? So we were on drugs and like super good, the music was perfect. It was like good techno.
Techno will never die. Techno is awesome.
Everyone is really relaxed, and you can feel the freedom, and they are also so respectful to girls, and that's not that
Usual?
usual. Yes.
And then it can be so joyful, it can give you so much pleasure that you want to celebrate that, you want to celebrate even if you are alone in the middle of the party,
You have some mainstream clubs where I went when I was younger, and I didn't felt quite that comfortable because it was like very heteronormative, and so I went to the other clubs, and it was quite open.
So I think this is what makes clubbing special, because it's like, of course, always a safer space, especially for the queer community.
I think like the German club culture, it's less commercialized as in other places. I feel like it's really open, inclusive, just like the city itself. And also like it's the techno capital, right? Like in Germany, in Cologne, they have lots of drum and bass. Hamburg is more hip hop, but like Berlin is techno. Like that's kind of what it's known for around the world. Like when you like techno, you just have to go to Berlin.
Europe is very different than North America in that sense. So I mean, in Europe, people don't go to clubs expecting to hear top 40.
It's not like it was showing, it was like what you would say, you wanted to dissolve yourself, and become a different being, for 5 minutes of glory.
I think it makes sense that in Berlin you've got such a strong techno club culture and no other club culture. Like you can't go dancing to hip hop music in Berlin if you don't want to get harassed and everything. There is no other club culture, I think, than techno. I think, of course, because you've got super great DJs and everything, but also because I think like Berlin is a playground for many people who want to express themselves and who want to like be as free as they are, and techno is like the background to it, I think, and you can do drugs and do sex and everything, whatever you want.
A lot of people say it's really one of the very last places left where you have this culture, club culture, where you can go to the club and you can be naked, you can have sex, you can, literally just be yourself, and you don't have security breathing down your neck, or people that are expecting to make a lot of money off bottle service, or these types of things. More than anything, a lot of freedom here when you go out.
Because like the modern Berlin was created like in the 90s. I do feel that Berlin kind of still has that kind of excitement.
And I think it's more the people that move to Berlin who are creating this techno bubble.
There was a dance revolution, what I'm so proud of.
I always enjoyed being around like-minded people that were out of the mainstream culture. Vancouver, as it gentrified and became more of a money-oriented city, what came along with that was a much more corporate wanting for entertainment. And so as a DJ, it seemed like it was overnight. Maybe I missed the lead up to it, but all of a sudden it was like I was just getting a lot of people being angry at me at the clubs for not playing like top 40 corporate music. And so at that point I kind of knew I either have to really change up my life or go somewhere else.
Berlin is a great city. I think like every person should have lived here for some time in their 20s. First of all, like it's so international, and I like how open it is. Like everyone can be this way they want. Also, like especially for young people, it's a cheap city. You can really enjoy yourself with little amount of money.
So like it has a huge cultural scene, it has a club scene, it's very open, it's very liberal, it's very leftist. It's still, now this is changing, but it's still like it used to be very cheap, and also like it's a capital city, but at the same time it's very green. It has a lot of parks, a lot of lakes.
Yeah, I've been watching gentrification here. Youth is a lot more active activated here than they are in North America. And so you see a ton of 20-year-olds at protests. Gentrification I have seen being fought tooth and nail here, but also at the same time during the 3-year or 2-year Corona break, they all of a sudden like did the shell game and slid a whole bunch of things through. And so Berlin has definitely changed a lot in that respect, and I see it's wiped out about 30% of the clubs. There's about another 20% or more up for grabs.
It's like different here. The clubs are like spread out over the city.
It's not particularly next to anything. You really have to like commit to the journey to get here. The closest donaire to here is like over a kilometer away, and that is unacceptable.
Dancing to electronic music really started in the 70s of the last century in New York. With the club culture, with the disco.
Everybody always compares to Berlin to like 1980s New York. And I think the reason for that is because when it's cheap to live in places, you get a lot of freaky people coming in and cool artists and things. And you have these rundown spaces that don't take a lot of money to like open or keep open, and you have a lot of freedom because you don't have anybody really paying attention, and so you have this kind of hedonistic culture that's allowed to exist because it's not dependent on finances.
Clubbing is really like the African and the worldwide rituals, primitive rituals, where it was all about dissolving yourself and being one with the others, with the nature, with everything. It was like being true to yourself, having a reason to live for.
Sadly, nowadays, it's so much about narcissism and people just wanting, I guess, like star-like attention and whatnot, that so much of it is lost. But yeah, at the end of the day, no DJ should be DJing unless it's purely based on love for music.
If you come out of the scene, I think you have to come to a certain point to start to criticize it, but I also know people who are like very deep into the Berghain scene and stuff who told me that it's actually like you come into it and you feel as if you would meet super many new friends who make you great connections and who are super interested in you. And after a couple of months, you realize that it's not really friendship, but it's like more of this party connection kind of vibe. It can be superficial and it can be dangerous, also because of the glamorization of drugs.
I guess, don't take for granted what you have, because as we've seen in every so many cities, it's like when you're young and you're not really thinking about the future and 10 years from now, as you shouldn't be. And it's like when it happens, it's like you look back and be like, oh man, because things do change. And when things are only changing in like a super extreme capitalistic way, where there's going to be nothing left, somebody along the line is going to hope they would have paid attention at some point.
So I wasn't actually going to go, but then I got a message from someone at like 5:15 being like, you should come if you're awake. And I said, sure. And then I got there, and there was like maybe 8 or 9 people in line. There's a lot of people just like sitting outside smoking. Everyone was wearing black. So they waved a couple people in. They asked one person if they were alone, and she said yes, and she was not let in. And then the guy after her was also not let in. And then the girl in front of me was let in. I went up, and there was like a white guy with a baseball cap, and he just kind of waved me aside, and then I walked away. And that was my experience.